Hey guys! So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how you can make a skirt without an outline. One thing I hate about making skirts is making the outline. So I kind of came up with this way that you can make skirts that look really cute but don't need an outline. So yeah, it's still kind of like drawing lines and stuff, but it's way easier, trust me. And if you struggle with making outlines just as much as me but still want to stay original and not use outlines but other people, then follow this tutorial. So this is my reference over here, and I kind of started already, but I'll redo it so you guys can see what I did. You're gonna make just one straight line across the top. That's the top of your waistband. Then another on the bottom. And this bottom part, this wavy, I'm going to turn on my drawing assist, which is basically the symmetry tool. It kind of makes stuff easier. You can also, if you don't have a symmetry tool, then you can just draw a line the entire way through. It doesn't really make a difference. So I'm going to start in the middle. If you don't have a symmetry tool, then you can obviously start on this side. And this wavy line, you have to sort of make it not too wavy because then it looks really fake and not that realistic. You're just gonna try and make really subtle waves and make them small too. If they're too big, then the skirt won't have as many pleats. And you're gonna do that the entire way across. Be as messy or as neat as you want with this. It doesn't make too big of a difference. And then you're going to go to new layer and color this part in with a lighter color. Your outline is always going to be a darker color than your actual thing, so I chose a lighter pink and you just color it in. I think you guys know how to color it in. And now we're going to go back to this main skirt, I guess, which I made at the beginning. You're gonna make lines, and I already made these lines, but like I said, I'll show you guys how to do that. And you're gonna choose a brush, something not too fancy, just really simple, and not in a size that's not too small, and something a little bit smaller than the size of the pleats you want. So I have this brush on 3 or 4%, and this blank Procreate brush that I made. And now you're going to make your pleats. You can make them curvy, you can make them straight, you can make them diagonal. Just depends on the shape of the skirt you want. I'm going to go for a bit of a diagonal one because my reference is a pleated skirt. And you're also going to turn my drawing assist on. Clip the layer if you have a clipping tool. And you just have to draw your pleats. Don't make them too close together because then when you blur them or smudge them, they're gonna like blur together and you won't be able to get that very like flowy skirt look. This part also doesn't have to be too neat or messy. It can be as messy as you want because after you blur it, you're not gonna see too much of it anyways. I'm going to use the one I used before because I feel like that one just works better for me. And keep doing it until you feel like it looks how you want it to. And I'm going to smudge it. My smudge brush is a airbrush. It's an airbrush soft. It's a soft airbrush. A very tiny size, 1 or 2%, and I have it at 25% opacity. Depending on whichever program you're using, you can just work it out. So when you smudge it, it doesn't go away immediately. And it's like a very soft blur in a way. And now you're going to smudge it. You can even blur it if you're more comfortable with that. I just prefer smudging it. And this part can also be as messy as you want it to be. Just make sure the lines don't blur into each other. And do that for every single line you drew. when you're smudging it, make sure you smudge it in the direction of the line you want, the direction you want the line to be. Like this line is facing right, but if I smudge it facing left, then the line also goes towards the left. So make sure it's in the direction you want it to face. I've never seen anyone do this technique before. I kind of just randomly came up with it one day. If anyone else has ever had a technique like this, then I promise I have not seen it before. I kind of just came up with this, but if anyone else has the same thing, then I didn't copy from them. And I'm sure they didn't copy from me too, I don't know. So now that you have your skirt, you're gonna change the opacity down, reduce the opacity, and if you want, you can take your eraser and erase just a little bit on the edges. That's gonna make your skirt outline, your lines your shading a bit more solid and defined, I guess. And it's gonna look even more straight and bolded. Do it on the edges of the pleats. And that's just one way you can make it look even better. I'm gonna just undo the whole thing. There was one step I forgot to show you guys. I'm gonna clip it again, and this time with the same brush, I'm gonna make it a lot thinner and maybe a little bit darker too. And you're gonna make lines again, do the entire process again, but this time you smudge it or blur it a little bit less so you kind of still see the line. This is gonna help create more depth inside your skirt and just make it look like you used an outline when you actually haven't. This next step is also kind of optional, but this is also something I like to add to make a bit more detail. I'm gonna go to a thinner brush. This fine tip one on Procreate works for me. You can choose, obviously, in your program, whichever one's good for you. And now I'm just gonna really just really muscly outline the insides of your pleats. This also helps to this really also helps to define those edges of yours and adds to your skirt. This is the main part, and for the waistband you can shade it however you like. I'm just gonna speed up the rest of it. I don't think there's too much to explain about the shading the waistband. And that's it. That's your skirt. You can change or do whatever you like with it. I'm gonna stop here. And thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you liked this video. See you in the next one. Bye.